start. Madam Speaker, I thank you. Allow me, for allowing me to say a few words in regards to this bill. To my dear colleagues and Kenyans, allow me today to disabuse you of the illusion that the BBI bill before Parliament is a perfect document arrived at in a flawless, perfect process that is supposed to solve all the problems that we have in this country. Madam Speaker, most of the things that I wanted to touch have been dealt with by my colleagues. So I'll try to demonstrate why I have serious reservation on the process and also particularly on this bill in very few words. I will focus my contribution today, Madam Speaker, in the following 5 areas. 1, the creation of the additional 70 constituencies. Number 2, the judiciary. Number 3, money to counties, and particularly focus on the issue of the Equalization Fund and the amendment of Article 203 and the introduction of Article 203N by this bill. And I will also focus on the role of Parliament in ensuring a fiduciary responsibility when it comes to the executive. Madam Speaker, without taking so much time, I will begin by focusing on one area, which I strongly believe that for the last decade, this country has made tremendous steps because of the judiciary. Madam Speaker, I've had a chance to look at the bill and also all the submissions. They're in 2 volumes. They're almost 2,000 pages by all distinguished people in this country, the Judiciary, the Law Society of Kenya, the IEBC, prominent personality. And Madam Speaker, one of the things that really baffles me, which I want to focus on, is the proposed amendment to Article 168 of the Constitution. This essentially makes it difficult for any judge to be able to sit there and perform their duties when they know that they have security of tenure. Madam Speaker, the proposed removal of a judge simply because of a complaint is a very, very dangerous proposition. Madam Speaker, what the promoters of this bill are actually telling Kenyans is that so long as you have a case and you know that Judge X, Y, and Z are the ones who are going to sit to hear that matter, and you don't like them, you can sponsor individuals to file complaints, and the ombudsperson will suspend that judge simply because of a complaint. Madam Speaker, that is a very, very, very dangerous trend. We have survived in this country because of the judiciary. This House, the Senate, has been able to stamp its authority. Most of our bills, which were disregarded by the National Assembly, have now found life again because of the judiciary. So when you now create a very powerful ombudsman who has the powers to initiate disciplinary action because of a simple complaint by Kenyans, you take away the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Madam Speaker, that is a very dangerous precedent that we will be setting if we in this House clap and say the promoters of the BBI have given us a solution to our problems. Madam Speaker, I will get into the issue of the constitutionality of the entire process. I've had my colleagues, mostly the proponent of the BBI, alluding to the fact that this is a people-driven, a people-driven constitutional amendment. And when I look at even the documentation and the BBI, it talks about the promoters of this initiative. We have referred to Article 257 of the Constitution. And some of my colleagues have alluded to the fact that this House can initiate changes. My view is that we cannot, because we are not the promoters of the bill. And I'll refer to Article 257 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Article 257(3) of the Constitution reads as follows. If a popular initiative in the form of a general suggestion, the promoters of the popular initiative shall formulate it into a bill. Madam Speaker, I would agree with my colleagues if this bill was originated in this House, because then the promoter of that bill would be a member of this Parliament, would be this Parliament. For now, Madam Speaker, and I know the same Article 257 talks about the fate. Whether we vote for this bill or not, the final say is bestowed by the people of Kenya. They are the ones who will decide the fate of this. So I want my people of Narok to know, and the people of Kenya to know, that when I stand here and I raise my reservation in supporting this bill, is because I know it doesn't matter what my one vote will do. The ultimate decision, as per the law, falls under the people. And I think, Madam Speaker, if you read the report by the Joint Committee of the Senate and the National Assembly, they are alive to the fact. And in fact, when you read it, you will hear them dancing around and saying, well, this is unconstitutional, but there's really nothing you can do. There's really nothing we can do about it. And there are some other clauses where they come in and they say, this needs to be reviewed at an earlier date. Then what exactly are we doing? Madam Speaker, I've gone through the report, and I know the report is supposed to guide us or aid us in terms of our contribution to this bill, either in support or opposing the bill. When you read this bill, Madam Speaker, and you read the report by the Joint Committee of the Senate and the National Assembly, you will question whether this bill is the one which taxpayers' money was used to set up a steering committee to be able to draft that bill. Madam Speaker, I have come across 4 versions of the bill, not even 2, as I say. The first bill was the one which was launched at the Bomas of Kenya, October 21st, I think 2020. And when you look at that bill, when you go to Article 203 as an example, and you compare Article 203, the proposed amendment to Article 203, on the first bill is not the same as the proposed amendment in Article 203 on the second bill. Then it begs the question on the mandate of the so-called promoters of this bill. I have come across a Gazette notice that clearly stated that the mandate of that bill lapses June 30th, 2020. The second bill, Madam Speaker, which I've come across, is the bill dated the 25th of November, 2020. In this bill, there are 2 versions in regards to the second schedule. When you refer to the first bill of October 2020, the second schedule talks about the structure of the IEBC. But now, fast forward it to the second schedule in regards to the second bill which was published by the promoters, that is the one that is purported to be discussed in this House, that is 2 different versions, introduces a complete different thing which was never there in the first place. The issue of the creation of the additional 70 constituencies. Madam Speaker, I'm a firm believer that the framers of our Constitution as it stands were alive to the fact that it becomes very difficult for Parliament, or rather for anyone, to constitutionalize certain and protect certain constituencies and leave the rest. 290 constituencies, Madam Speaker, save from the few from Taita Taveta and Lamu, because of population, that have been protected by the Constitution. The rest can be changed at any given time. I live in Narok East, Madam Speaker, and if at any time the population reduces in Narok East, I might end up losing Narok East because Narok East is not protected. So, Madam Speaker, to attempt to say that you are now taking that power away from the IEBC and telling IEBC that as soon as this act has been assented to by the President, you have 6 months for you to be able to create these constituencies. You disregard what IEBC has told you, because if you read the report, Madam Speaker, IEBC has shared with you the practicality of setting up this 70 constituency, that it will not take less than a year. You forget that the same Constitution states clearly that the referendum must be held a year into a general election. We are in May today. I want to see this magic that will come from somewhere, that we will propel IEBC with no budgets, corona period, for them to be able to go out there, albeit illegal, because these are not the views of Kenyans. It is the views of a few individuals. Madam Speaker, if you look at the letter which was signed by Chebukati, in that letter himself, in his communication, he indicates that the promoters of the bill are two individuals. One, who is a member of the National Assembly, Junaid Mohammed, and the second one is Dennis Wawero. These are facts on the committee report, the annexes which are there, that anyone in doubt can be able to go back and refer to. Madam Speaker, I am of the opinion that when you discriminate against 19 counties, and you look at 29 counties, is it 29? You know, and say in these counties you can set up a constituency here and you name them, you're not only discriminating them, you're not only creating a disparity in this country, but you are also creating a problem that cannot be solved easily politically. Madam Speaker, I want to end that point by stating as follows. It is quite evident that the issues of constituencies, the issues of boundaries are very emotive. There are things that needs people to be consulted, convinced of the need to be able to set up, to alter boundaries, create new constituencies, new wards. And that is why the framers of our current constitution really took their time, because by the time we got the 2010 constitution, Madam Speaker, I dare say, the process that we took was a very painful process. Kenyans assembled at the Bomas of Kenya. They gave their views. You know, even though that draft did not end up being the constitution, but the final constitution took into consideration what Kenyans all over had in mind. Madam Speaker, whoever the promoter of the bill is, because it is not Kenyans, it's either the Building Bridges Initiative or these two individuals who are noted here, ought to really think and ask a few questions. Are we amending the Constitution for short gains, or are we doing so for posterity? Madam Speaker, my third point comes into an issue that we fought so hard, which led to the arrest of our individuals, of our colleagues in the Senate, the issue of revenue. Madam Speaker, the promoters of this bill were defeated in this House, but they have found a way of introducing an amendment to Article 203, when we fought heavily against this issue of per capita, and I can see, how many more minutes do I have? 5 minutes, thank you. The issue of the per capita, they now find a way to reintroduce it by coming up with an amendment to Article 203, and they cap how much people can be able to get. Is this really realistic? And the argument they make there is that, oh no, we have the issue of the equalization fund. Madam Speaker, let me once again disabuse Kenyans of this illusion that this equalization fund actually helps. Currently, Madam Speaker, we have hospitals which were built, funded by that equalization fund. They are not in operation. The people who are supposed to have benefited never benefited. So when you tell us you're increasing the term, first of all, you show us the money. Tell us what happened to that money which was there that had been set up. Madam Speaker, you know, when we talk about the structure of governance, one thing that baffles me, and the question that comes to mind is this: does creating new levels of government, increasing the number of representation in this parliament, solve our problems? And the answer to that is no. Because when you look at it, the promoters of this bill, Madam Speaker, do not even want, they don't want workers to be represented in parliament. That is why they have sought to amend Article 97C and to do away with that provision of allowing workers to be represented here. I don't know what Sosion and Tom, who are representing workers in the National Assembly, would have to say about that, or even Atwoli, who on a daily basis talks about the rights of workers. He had a beautiful chance, and the Constitution of 2020 had given him that chance. Madam Speaker, the last thing which really questions the motive of this bill is the issue of the role of Parliament once again, in terms of oversighting the executive. Now, there is an amendment, Madam Speaker, I think to Article 154, which really brings up the issue of removing the vetting of cabinet secretaries, the vetting of PSs. Madam Speaker, we're having a very difficult time right now oversighting these cabinet secretaries. Now, when you don't give Parliament that power to be able to vet them, are you not just going to be brewing a lot of impunity and corruption? What happens to the issue of integrity in this country, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, I want to end by saying the following things. I think I'm a firm believer that coming up with a proposal to amend the Constitution when you have not even implemented the first Constitution that we fought so hard for, you become an escapism, but not really a person who wants to be able to help this country. We need to think about the future generation in this country. You know, you can create so many goodies. You can actually say an MCA will be in the executive. So what have you done there, Madam Speaker? You have taken away that check and balance system in the devolved system of governance. Because an MCA who can become a CC will just team up with the governor, and when the MCAs now are either checking the governor, I mean, they'll just collude, and there's nothing you can do. So really, I would want us to be very critical, and I would want to be convinced that, first of all, interfering with the judiciary will help this country move forward. Second, interfering with the role of Parliament will help this government go forward. And I'm not saying, Madam Speaker, that nothing is good in this bill. There are a lot of good things which can be amended based on amending the legislation. I want to end with the following words: that whether I vote for this bill or not, the law, the Constitution as it stands, gives the last word to Kenyans. I'm here to inform Kenyans as their representative. I'm here to point out areas which I think are wrong. 1 minute, yeah? And it's up to you. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator.